Well, hello to everybody. Thank you so much for taking the opportunity to get online with us tonight. I'm really excited about the opportunities and the benefits you're going to learn about our discussion. And what I'd like for you to understand is that okay, now let's get busy. So I want to thank everybody for getting on tonight and taking the time out of your busy evenings to assemble here tonight to talk about something that is really dear to my heart, and that's healthcare. I'm Dr. Vickie James. I'm a family practitioner in College Park, Georgia. And what I'd like to share with you is that healthcare is in a time of great expansion, including newer and more extensive treatments that come with a greater cost and also come with increased uncertainty of their benefits. But tonight, we are going to take the opportunity to maybe step back and then move speed forward as we talk about stem cell technology. And my interest in stem cell technology dates back to as early as 2009, when I started hearing about the technology and what it could do. And by 2018, I was actually doing some procedures in my office and really seeing the benefits. And in fact, one of the people that you're going to meet tonight, Dr. Linda Avery, was speaking to me just pre-pandemic about getting some stem cells. And we were on hold because of the cost and because of the pandemic. But fast forward July of this year, she calls and tells me that she now has access to stem cells that are in a patch form. And I am so excited that I don't know what to do except join and start using the therapies for myself and for my patients. So I want you all to take a deep breath and be ready for the opportunity to hear some wonderful things about a new technology. We have a very special guest who's going to take the lead and carrying us down this very winding, very flourishing new technology. And that is Verdita Monk. And so, Ms. Monk, it's all yours.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Vickie, for first of all, partnering with us and sharing this vision with as many people as you can. It really means a lot for the credit because of the credibility that you have, not only in the health industry, but also the stem cell technology industry. And just the fact that you would embrace this technology means a whole lot to us. And I'm sure your patients, are going to benefit from you embracing this. As you said, Dr. Avery was intending to start that I guess practice of the stem cell injections, but the cost was cost prohibitive. And so that is what a lot of people experience. So we're going to get right on into the presentation, and you can stop your video now and I'll start the presentation. We are recording. Thank you so much. So you guys, let me just tell you a little bit about myself before I get into the formal presentation. Again, my name is Verdita Monk. My husband and I have been involved with LifeWave, which is this company that you're going to be hearing about, which provides the technology that we're referring to. And the way we heard about this was through a friend, just like the way you heard about it through a friend or a colleague. And the friend that reached out to my husband back in November is a gentleman by the name of Mr. Ken Robinson. And he wanted us to try this patch. It's the technology is in the form of a tiny patch about the size of a quarter and is thin like a Band-Aid. And so we met him and got the patch and patches rather. And we went on to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where my husband is from. And when we got there, the first thing we noticed when we walked in the door was my mother-in-law, who's 92 years old, who is normally very vibrant, and energetic. All of it. She was rubbing her knee really profusely as if someone had hit her with a hammer. And she was doing everything except for crying. She needed knee surgery. The doctor had given her pain medication and ointments and all this, and didn't seem to work. Well, we had just gotten on a call just like this one that you're on right now. And we heard several people with excruciating pain or some type of illness that doctors could not help them with, but the patch did help them. So we said, we were not going to sit there and watch her in that type of pain. So all we knew to do was put the patch on her. So we put the patch on her and she went to bed. Next morning, she woke up and said she did not get up in the middle of the night. She slept sound. She had no pain. We were there for 6 days and that pain never came back. And that impressed us. But the next morning when she woke up and said, excuse me, that the pain had gone, we decided we were going to try the patch. Now, the reason we didn't even think about trying it ourselves was because my husband and I were on no medication. We're pretty healthy individuals. In our mind, we didn't need the patch. And that's what a lot of people think, they don't need the patch. But hopefully I'll cover enough information tonight that you will realize that you do need this patch, okay? So what happened was that night, my husband we both put the patch on. And, you know, you can put it in the morning or night, but preferably morning. We didn't know any better. We put it on that night. And that night was the first time in 10 years that I did not hear my husband snore. That was profound because he was snoring very loud like a bear. He was coughing and choking, and this went on every night. And it was big. It was a major issue for us. I couldn't sleep because he was keeping me awake, and I think he was sleeping, but he would wake up choking and stuff. So either way, it's a health issue when you are snoring. So he stopped snoring November the 11th of 2022 and has not snored since. I know that sounds crazy, but it's the truth. It is a God honest truth. So that impressed us. Plus what happened to my mother-in-law impressed us. And we got on a one more call like this. And by that time, we decided there is no way we can keep this a secret. I'm telling everybody I know about this because I don't like to see people struggling with issues that they can't do anything about. And so let's get right on into the presentation. And the golden question for the evening is, have you been patched? Well, hopefully if you have not been patched yet, you are going to be patched after this call because you're going to be real curious as to what this patch may do for you and your family. But the patch is going to elevate you. It's going to reactivate those stem cells in your body, and it's going to regenerate everything about your body. You're going to feel amazing. Now, why would you want to be patched? You know, I've already kind of alluded to the fact that, you know, people want to get patched because as we get older, our bodies, you know, heal slower. Okay. But one reason why somebody want to get patched is because when people have issues that are out of control, crisis situations when it comes to their health, they are willing to turn to stem cell injections. Now, the problem, you know, that one of the problems with stem cell injections is they're cost prohibitive. The average person cannot afford them. Insurance does not cover them. There's a chance, maybe a 30% chance they may not work. There's no guarantee that that injection is going to actually work. But because people are desperate, they're willing to take that chance. And so now that we have another option with this patch, that's why people are willing. This is why they want to be patched, because they have a better option that's more cost effective and amazing. You're going to hear some amazing testimonies shortly. But by the age of 30, half of our stem cells are dormant. And therefore, that's when we start, you know, feeling more tired. That's when we start, you know, having, you know, like less energy. We may start developing things like high blood pressure, diabetes, you know, things like that as you get older. But by the time we're age 60, oh man, almost all of our stem cells are gone. And that's when things like Alzheimer's step in, diabetes, just a number of things that start accelerating because we're getting older and because those stem cells are dormant. Now, how does this technology work? This particular patch is called the X39. And in this patch, in the very, very center, are nanocrystals, organic nanocrystals. They're made in a lab out of plants and salts and sugars. And so there's nothing like stem cells in the patch. No stem cells are in this patch, only crystals. What happens when you put the patch on your body, anywhere on your body, the light and heat from your body reflect off of the crystals. And when that happens, it elevates the copper peptides that are already in your body. The particular copper peptide we're referring to is GHK. That's considered the holy grail of anti-aging. And when that happens, that's when the part that you're going to be so impressed with happens, the phenomenal process of something called photobiomodulation. And when that happens, our stem cells are reactivated. See, that part right there is profound, because scientists say that there was no way that our own stem cells could be reactivated. Only injections and other things that they may put in your body. So this patch does not interfere with your medication. It doesn't interfere with anything. It's not depositing anything in your body. Let me kind of help you understand another way of putting this, so it'll make it clear. You know, when you go out into the sun, maybe you understand that when you go out into the sun, it elevates the vitamin D within your body. But yet there is no vitamin D being deposited in your body, because vitamin D is not coming out of the sun, is it? But for some reason, when we get in the sun, our vitamin D is elevated. That's the same thing that happens when we put the patch on. The crystals reflect off of the light of your body, elevating the copper peptides, which in turn reactivate your stem cells. So even though that was something scientists said could never be done, I'm going to introduce you to someone who is a genius who made it happen. But here, once again, the company that we're talking about is LifeWave International. It's a 19-year-old company going on 20 years old. The company grew, as you can see from this light highlighted growth chart right here, from 20 million up to 320 million in the last 3 years. And that's because the X39 patch was created 3 years ago, and it spread all over the world, and we're now in over 75 countries. So here's the gentleman I referred to earlier, which we consider a genius. He's very, very brilliant. His name is Mr. David Schmidt. He is the CEO and inventor of LifeWave, and now has over 130 patents. Now, he is a scientist and an inventor, that two-time recipient of the Advanced Technology Award of the International Hall of Fame. Let me tell you something about him and how he got started. About 20 years ago, he was commissioned by the federal government to come up with something for the Navy SEALs on their new project, which they were going to go into this new submarine, and they needed to be energized for over 36 hours at a time. So it took him 3 years to create something called the energy patch, which was very successful. And that's the patch that he created for the Navy SEALs. That patch is still around. He created other patches. That's why he has so many patents. But now, 3 years ago, that's when he created the X39. This is the masterpiece. This little bitty patch right here is the masterpiece and surpasses everything he has ever done in the past. So this patch is patented for the next 17 years. And it's not like a Me Too product, something that you might find at a drugstore or any other company, because we are the only ones that have it. We are at the forefront of stem cell technology. Now, some of the things you may experience when you wear the patch are rapid pain relief, like my mother-in-law, what I said about her. Reduced inflammation. We know that inflammation is a big mess. It messes up our body. I mean, everything in our body can be traced back to, all the ailments and issues we're experiencing can be traced back to inflammation. Supports wound healing, especially diabetics are, have a hard time healing. Energy and vitality. These are things that you definitely want, especially you get older. For me, I needed the energy and vitality, and I'm experiencing much of that, much needed energy and vitality now. Mental clarity is off the chain. It enhances athletic performance, so that, that's why we've attracted so many professional athletes. Faster recovery from exercise, as well as improved skin appearance. I can attest to the improved skin appearance. I'm in my late 60s, but yet I had the turkey neck, I guess you would call it, that is gone. that is gone. And I mean, it's just amazing, some of the things that are happening. I was spending over $100 for a jar of certain kind of cream that had the copper peptides in there. That did not work. I tried it all, okay? Because women, we like to look good, right? But I want to say this, these products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent or mitigate any disease or medical condition. This is not what we're saying. We're not saying the patch heals you. We're saying the patch reboots your body when that photobiomodulation process takes place. That light therapy that I talked about, just the light from your body reflecting off these crystals. It took Mr. Smith 10 years and $5 million and 80 case studies to get this right. So he didn't just throw this together. This is a lot of research done with this. Now, you're looking at a chart called a topography map. And on this map, they took this is a reflection of a 77-year-old woman where they placed the patch on the back of her neck. And in the first picture you see in session 1, there was inflammation in her brain, very little stem cell activity and lack of brain coherence. That red area reflects the inflammation. And then in session 2, which was 3 weeks later, look, all the inflammation is gone and there's better brain coherence. Well, in session 3, which was 6 weeks later, there's a complete turnaround. And there, look at all the stem cell activity. This light blue area reflects the stem cell activity, improves the stem cell activity, improves stem cell activity in her whole body and better brain coherence. But this activity is not limited to the brain. It's in all the organs in the body, including the heart, the liver, the lungs, kidneys, and skin, and so on. Now, here's what they discovered, in the 80 case studies. These are actual results that happened as a result of the case studies. So people started noticing, the tests that they would use to measure, they could tell that people had generated over 4,000 genes had begun to reset in the first few days. Within 6 weeks, the brain became balanced. You just saw that graph. And this is, helpful for people that have PTSD, anxiety, and depression. Within 3 months, the collagen begins to increase. That's why the wrinkles start going away. The hair starts growing faster. The structural integrity of your skeletal and muscular system increases. That right there is very important, because as we get older, our bones become less dense, and that's called osteoporosis. And you don't want to fall or break a bone or anything like that when you get to be older. It's very hard to heal. So that's very, very important. And remember, I was saying there's reasons people think that just because they don't have illnesses that they don't need the patch. Yes, we need this patch as we get older, so that we won't be dealing with some of the ailments that our elders have experienced. So within 6 months, the heart reverses in age. This is what happened in a recent study. 14 out of 15 people lowered their vascular age by an average of 8 years after wearing the patch. And let me give you a demonstration, a live example of that. I have a friend who is part of our company, his name is Jeffrey. And Jeffrey, I'm sorry, there's some echoing somewhere. Jeffrey was diabetic. Okay, Jeffrey was diabetic, and he was taking 4 insulin shots per day. Well, in November, when he was introduced to the patch, 3 days after wearing this patch, he was no longer taking 4 insulin shots per day. He was only doing 1. And then by now, every once in a while, he says he does a shot. But let me tell you the part about the heart, because when you're diabetic, it's very common for you hear people that are having strokes. Well, 3 years ago, he had a stroke, and it paralyzed him all over half of his body. He had to learn everything again. They would not let him leave the hospital without a pacemaker, and because his heart was not going to operate on its own. Well, when he started wearing the patch back in November of last year, 2022, 6 weeks later, he was going to the cardiologist every 6 weeks. 6 weeks later, he went back to the cardiologist, and the cardiologist was really impressed with the test or numbers or whatever it was he was looking at. And he says, "What are you doing? Because your heart is looking good." He says, "Well, I'm taking this patch." He says, "Well, your heart, I want you to know that your heart is operating on its own. It's no longer relying on that pacemaker or the defibrillator. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it and don't come back into 2024. That's what you will find out. So a lot of people have heart conditions, and because this patch is reversing the vascular age, that's the age of your heart, and those stem cells within your heart are reversing. And this is what has happened, you guys. We don't want ever to, we don't want our heart to get, I don't even know what word to say, but we want to stay young. Okay, we want to stay young, and this is why this is important. Now, a lot of information that we could talk about is on this website called startx39.com. We just don't have time to go over it all tonight, but I encourage you to write this down or screenshot it or something. And please, there are videos on there. The Founders has a couple of videos on there. There are case studies, the 80 case studies that I talked about, as well as doctors' reviews. Just go there because it's a plethora of information there. Now, how do you wear this patch? It's very simple. All you got to do is put it on your body, anywhere on your body, 12 hours on and 12 hours off. If you start at 8 o'clock in the morning, like when you wake up and brush your teeth, you can take it off at 8 o'clock at night. And then that's going to allow your body to repair and rejuvenate. And you just throw that patch away. But then you want to make sure that you're well hydrated, drink plenty of water. Now, in this diagram, they show the patch behind the neck, which is where I wear mine most of the time, or below the belly button. But that was just because in the case studies that I mentioned, they have to be consistent. Everybody had to wear it in one of these two locations in order for it to be consistent. But you can literally wear it anywhere you want to wear it. Okay, I like it because I don't like swallowing pills and stuff, and I didn't have to take medication anyway. But I don't know what I would have done if I had to swallow pills, because I wouldn't have made it. I cannot swallow pills. And I mean, I can eventually, but it takes me about 5 minutes to swallow a pill. So I like being able to patch myself. Now, you're just looking at some visuals of some things that happened to people who started wearing the patch. This young man had cystic acne, but look how clear his skin is right here. Look at the feet, the hands. All of these are results. These before and after pictures are a result of people that have worn the patch. This gentleman in particular, I know his daughter, and they said for 6 months, they had gone to all these different doctors trying to get this oozing. I mean, just kind of gross, but this oozing coming out of his leg. The very next morning of wearing the patch, his leg was smooth. Look at this lady, how she is in less than a year. She looks like a whole different person. She looks like a whole different person from wearing the patch. Her eyelids are lifted. Her cheekbones are lifted, everything. The goose neck or turkey neck is gone. Like mine didn't look quite that bad, but it was gone. This man's hair started growing, back. I mean, so yeah, this patch is amazing. And so now we've come to what I consider the most important part of this call. Dr. Vickie, you didn't share your testimony earlier when you were speaking. Do you mind coming back on and unmuting yourself and sharing your video and share what this patch has done for you?
Am I back on?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so
just don't see your video though, but you can.
Okay, so what do I do?
Start video down at the bottom left.
Okay, all righty. So my patches came on a Wednesday evening. I get to the house and they're there. So I put them, and it's night, so I'm not gonna put one on. So I put it on the counter across from my bed, and it's still daylight out, and I need to cut the yard. So I take the hand mower, walking mower, and I'm pushing against 6-inch grass, and it's hard work. Well, the next morning when I wake up, I can't even raise my arm because the elbow is so intensely painful. And I look over and I see the patches. I said, okay, if it's going to do anything, this is the time to do it. I put one on, and I left the house and ended up back in work at about half an hour. And when I raised my arm up, there was absolutely no pain whatsoever. That's when I was first sold on it. Fast forward, if it can work on that one patch wonder, let me see what it can really do. I was in a motor vehicle accident and had an injury to my hip, and I'd actually gotten stem cells, and they did help. but they were starting to really, actually they had worn off. So I start wearing the patch on my lower back, my hip, and that's at least 5 weeks ago, and I've not had any more pain. So I truly am a testament, not only because I know the technology, but I know personally how the technology has worked in my body, and I'm all forward on making this a possibility, a use for all my patients.
Wow.
Gotta get the people using this. There is just
Wow.
no question about the benefit.
Well,
No
thank you,
question.
Thank you, Dr. Vickie, for sharing that. And I tell you, you know, it's nothing like being able to get those results yourself. It makes it even more, you know, encouraging. But notice, Dr. James, you didn't say that you didn't wait until you got a testimony of your own before you even ordered the patches. Obviously, you believed in what you were reading, or is that what happened?
I have treated enough patients with pain and chronic health issues that when I heard other people's testimonies, I could tell from their testimonies that they were sharing information that I had had my own patients share with me, and that it was consistent that this product was actually working and doing what it had been um, that was said that it would do. It was proven itself in human usage, no question about it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you saying that, because this, like I said, this is a science, and you know, it's very important that people, you know, believe that this is working. So thank you so much, Dr. Vickie. So the next person I want to call on is Mr. James Burnett. Mr. Burnett, would you share your video and unmute yourself, please? And Dr. Vickie, you can stop your video. Mr. James Burnett.
Yes, I am here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you yet. Let me see.
Right. You have me blocked.
No, let me see, James.
You cannot start your video because the host has disabled it.
Ah, okay, well, let me enable it. Okay, let me see if I can do. Is it Jim Burnett? There you
Okay, there you are. There I am.
go.
All right. I'm using my phone. So how's everybody doing? I do have I believe, a great testimony. I am a diabetic, and I have diabetic nerve damage in my feet called neuropathy. And I take a pill called Lyrica. I've been taking it for about 4 or 5 years. And I mean, it works okay, but if you don't know neuropathy, you feel like you have rocks in the bottom of your shoes. So every evening when I come home, the first thing I do is take my shoes off to kind of relieve the pain in my feet. But also my ankles and my feet would swell. My wife would put alcohol to try to bring the swelling down. But on, I think it was a Thursday or a Friday or whatever, a very good friend of mine, Dr. Linda Avery, she gave me the patches. And I think Dr. Avery is the one that introduced Dr. James to this wonderful patch. But anyway, Dr. Linda brought these patches to me. And I be honest, I didn't believe in it, but being that she was a good friend of mine, I said I would try it. I had not heard any testimonies or anything. I just decided to go on faith, and I tried the patch. And that, I believe, was on a Thursday. So I put the patch on, did the 12-hour thing on and 12 hours off. But what happened was is that I forgot to see if anything was going on. And when I would come home, I wasn't taking my shoes off anymore. My wife said, "Boy, your feet are not swollen anymore." And I said, "What the heck is going on here?" So I still was kind of hesitant, but I only had one patch left, and I didn't want to stop, doing the patch. So I called Dr. Linton. I said, "Well, listen, how do I get some more of these patches?" So she introduced the opportunity to me, and I ordered some. But in the meantime, I bought some more directly from her, so I would have enough to hold me over until I got mine in the mail. Well, my pain levels went from say 10 being the worst and 2 being the best. I mean, 1 being the best. I've gotten down to about 2 level now as far as the pain. So I don't expect neuropathy to go away, but my ankles and my feet, they don't swell anymore. All right. And I don't have the same pain level. And I am a firm believer of this patch. I don't want to even take the chance to find out if I stop wearing the patch to see if my feet will be the same. I don't want to take that chance. It's not worth it. And the last testimony I have, which is kind of comical, is I never was able to grow hair, a beard or whatever it may be. And I think at the second, third day after taking the patch, I woke up and I rubbed my face and I noticed I had a serious growth of hair on my face. So I went in there and I asked my wife, I said, do I have a beard here? And she said, boy, you've grown hair on your face. So now I have to shave every day. And that's not necessarily something I wanted to do, but for those who have hair loss or are losing their hair or whatever, this is something that is going to kind of enhance that and make it better, because it's right now I have stubbles and then normally I don't get that. But the patch has been a blessing for me. It's been a blessing for a number of people that I introduced it to. But that's my story and I'm sticking to it. God bless.
Well, James, you know, the first time I saw you, it's probably been, I don't know, 6 weeks or so ago. Now
Yes, ma'am.
you were hopping around. I mean, you were so excited because you could literally walk. It seems like you must have had an issue walking on your feet prior to wearing the patch.
Yes, ma'am. Well, anybody that experienced neuropathy, they know what that, you got to walk very gingerly, for a better word. But yeah, but now it's a lot. In fact, I'm sitting here, I wish I can show it, but I'm sitting here in the house. It's 8:30 at night and I'm watching football. But guess what I got on? I got my shoes on. Ordinarily, these shoes would have been off my feet now. But it's been good. And
Well,
guess
thank you.
what?
Oh,
You guys have been very, very nice. And I appreciate the opportunity.
well, thank you. And thank you for sharing. I'm glad you're
Yes,
feeling so
ma'am.
much better. So we're going to keep on going, you guys. We've got 2 more testimonies. The next person up is Miss Veronica Smith. Veronica, can you unmute yourself and share your video?
There we go.
Can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Well, I like to thank Dr. Avery. She introduced me as well to the patch along with Dr. James as well. This patch it's been real good. Like I can't live without it because I had my knees was shot. Both of my knees were shot. And then eventually, 2 years ago, I had to get a whole knee replacement on my left knee. And they said as soon as the left knee get better, they want to do a knee replacement on my right knee. They can't do both because I need to be able to get around and walk. But I've been just not want to do that second knee replacement. Not that the first knee replacement wasn't good. It's my knee is good. It's still stiff a little. And when the weather changed, I don't need the weatherman. My knee, the one that got the replacement in, it's gonna tell me. So I'm like a walking weather machine. But since I didn't get my knee replaced on the right side, it started giving me sciatica. And the sciatica nerve got really bad. Like sometimes getting out of bed, my back is killing me. I'm in excruciating pain. But then Dr. Avery said, I got something for that. I want you to try this and this when she introduced me to the patch. And when she introduced me to the patch, I was like, okay, I don't got nothing else to lose at this point. So when I tried the patch, the first week, my sciatica was gone. I didn't have no back pains. I was able to like just get up. In the morning, I have to think about getting up before I start the patch. Now I just get up. It has given me energy. My right knee, it doesn't bother me. It does not bother me. I'm now able to go to the gym like I used to for like, I go to the gym like 3 to 4 times a week. I'm able to go to the gym. It's just like a whole renewed session for me body wise, from the pain of my knee, the sciatica nerve, my energy level. It's just, it has really turned it around. And recently I had ran out of patches, and I live in Florida. I told Linda, I didn't care what, ship me some patches. She said, okay, just pay for the shipping cost, and they'll be there. I'll see you enough for you until you get yours. So that's what she did. I'm like the gentleman before. I can't live without my patches. Like, I refuse to. I'll be on these patches for life. It has done such an amazing job for me. And I like to just truly thank Dr. Avery for that.
Wow. But thanks, Veronica. Can you, on my phone, Veronica?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. That was such an amazing testimony. And you guys, now you see why it's so
Thank
important.
you.
Yeah, it's so important for us to share with people, because you never know whose life you're going to change. And Veronica's life sounds like it's definitely, you can tell when people are in pain, and her face is so pretty and all this. You can tell she's not in pain. So glad you're feeling better, Veronica. But we do have one more testimony. You've heard her name being called several times. Dr. Linda Avery, would you please come on, share your video and share your awesome testimony? Dr. Linda Avery.
I'm trying.
Okay, I see you now.
Okay, can you see me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I got a few things that has happened. One thing, let me just tell you about the latest thing, because this is something very new. I was at a family reunion on a Saturday, and I'm old. I mean, I don't want to say I'm old, but I'm older. And just like Vanita was saying earlier, when you get older, when you fall or something, it will fracture or break or whatever. Well, I was standing on top of a table, believe it or not, to take pictures. So I was on top of this table, and I was walking toward the edge of the table where there's no ledge on the table. And my granddaughter was down below, so she was dancing. So I was kind of like carrying on, dancing on top of this table, right? And the table toppled over, and it threw me off the table onto a concrete pavement on my hands and on my knees. And generally, if you fall and hit your at my age, on your hands or anything, it will fracture your joint, and then it would fracture your knee. Well, I fell so hard. I looked at my knee. I have no bruising on my knees, on my hands, or any of that. And I got back up, and I have not had a pain since. And I was talking to a friend of mine, he said, I was reading up on this because of the copper. Sometimes in your body, it builds up those bones. I mean, this thing actually works. Not only that, I have a scar. Larice Rivers actually patched me. And of course, I didn't think it worked, but I have a scar right there on my shoulder. And it's always in pain. It's like something sticking me all the time, just sticking me. And so I used she put the patch on, and about 30 minutes later, my pain completely went away. So I used this patch. Before, I used to have some kind of cream to stop the pain on my shoulder. But I have not used any cream, anything for that pain or any of that. And the last thing I wanted to say is that my blood pressure, I have never, since I've been an adult, I've been an adult a long while. Since I've been an adult, my blood pressure has never, the lowest I ever got maybe over 130 something, over 80 something, 85, that's not bad. But when I went to the doctor the last time, my blood pressure had went to 116 to over 77. I mean, I've never had a blood pressure as an adult that low. So the patch works. And just like Miss Veronica said, I will not stop using it. I will always use it because it works. And I don't have to go pay all this expensive money for stem cells from Dr. James, because I have the patch that would do the same thing. Thank you.
Wow, Dr. Avery, thank you so much. Number one, for just sharing your testimony. And I'm so glad you're feeling better, but also look at all the people whose lives you've touched. And Dr. Vickie, you know, she's definitely, you know, has an audience, and she was definitely into the stem cell industry. That's why you thought of her, because you were trying to get some injections from her. But this is going to change a lot of people's lives. Thank you for your vision. Thank you for your leadership. And once again, I'm glad you're feeling much better.
Thank you.
All right. So you guys, you just heard it. You just heard all these testimonies just showing you what this patch can do. Everybody's got a different story, and your story may be different. You may not get immediate results like in 10 minutes or an hour, but guess what? The patch is working anyway. And I really, really appreciate what Dr. Vickie said about the fact that she went on and ordered a package because she believed in the science. She read the case studies. Doctors don't just start recommending things for patients unless they believe in it. And she was willing to do that. So thank you, all of you, for your testimonies and sharing with everybody. So I'm going back to this presentation. We're going to wrap it up. And so I want everybody to think about this. You're seeing a screen, that's a slide that says, what's most important in your life? The first one is family, time freedom, security, travel, better health, and less debt. See, everything that's listed on this screen, guess what? It takes money. And that's what we're going to be talking about in a moment. But I want to talk about family first, because, you know, family, if that's the most important thing in your life, do you want to see your, your loved ones sick or in pain or anything that's a discomfort to them? Do you want to see them struggle with that? And I don't want to be, and I hope to live to be 80 or 90 years old, but I don't want to be, you know, hopping around or with dementia or anything like that indefinitely. We do have testimonies of people who had dementia and Alzheimer's, that this patch has turned their lives around, you guys. I don't want to be in that situation when I get older. So we want to be in good health for our family, do we not? We want to be able to have the time freedom to do the things we want to do, how we want to do them, when we want to do them. Guess what? Security is big, you guys. Social Security may not even be around by the time, you know, maybe even 10 or 15, the way they're talking about it, I don't even know it's going to ever be around. So we have to take matters into our own hand. And so let's talk about the industry of stem cell technology. So now it's time for you to put your business hat on, because we're going to talk a little bit. I'm only going to take about 5 minutes to explain why this is something that you may want to consider from a business standpoint. You know, the industry is growing extremely fast and expected to explode to about $30 billion within the next 5 to 7 years. This is what they're saying. And it's currently at about $13.5 billion. But the stem cell industry is very popular, especially in areas like California. All the athletes, celebrities, they love getting injections because they're not going to, endure pain when they don't have to. And so this industry is about to explode. But guess what? LifeWave, you heard the testimonies. There's nothing going into your body that's going to interfere with medication. So we're at the forefront of this industry. And so here's how you're going to be compensated several ways. Let's talk first about what happens if you decide you want to partner with us. You're going to be able to take advantage of something called a binary compensation plan. That simply means that you're going to be put in a tree similar to what you're looking at right here. Let's say this is you. You're going to build a left team and a right team. And every time you introduce someone to this information, and they buy one of these packages, first of all, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to be a beautiful, like in a little envelope, beautiful packaging. And you're going to get 30 of these patches inside this envelope. And when you do that, you qualify to get into this binary compensation plan. I won't go into all the details, but hundreds and thousands of people will ultimately end up falling under you, either on your left leg or your right leg. And you will earn up to $25,000 per week. The word is up to, okay? So that right there is very lucrative, just that part alone. Now, when you introduce this to other people, as they start earning money in that binary compensation plan, you get 25% of what they earn. Let's take an example. Dr. Avery introduced Dr. Vickie James to this opportunity. Dr. Vickie James, let's say she goes out and makes earns $1,000 next week in the binary part of our compensation plan. What does Dr. Vickie earn? I mean, Dr. Avery earn? Dr. Avery will get 25% of what Dr. Vickie earned because she personally enrolled her. That's $250. But you know, you heard some other people that Dr. Avery told about this as well. Suppose she had 10 people this week that earned $1,000 in the binary. That's $10,000. But guess what? 25% of 10,000 is $2,500. Dr. Avery would earn $2,500 just because she shared this with 10 really sharp people. Those 10 people may go and tell 10 people as well. That's 1,000 people. I mean, I'm sorry, 100 people on Dr. Avery's second level. If 1,000 people each earn, 100 people each earn $1,000, that's $100,000 just on Dr. Avery's second level. What's 25% of $100,000? I mean, 20% is $20,000. You get what I'm saying? So she gets paid on people that they refer, which is her third level. Do you see how lucrative this is going to be? In other words, we can get money as an issue out of the way just because we're opening up our mouth and sharing something with people that is so phenomenal and so amazing. We already very, very confident it is going to change their lives. So what you should be doing is screaming from the rooftops to help your family and your friends. And that's why you're on this call, for two reasons: to appreciate and experience this patch for yourself, but also we want you to share it with other people so we can spread the news all over the world and get healthy and wealthy all at the same time. But in addition to that, those other ways I just told you about getting paid, you earn money every single time somebody decides they want to get one of these packages. For example, we have a starter package, which gives you 3 30-day supplies. They're $100 a piece when you get it at the wholesale price. If you don't want to get it at the wholesale price and you don't want to be a brand partner, you can be Dr. Vickie's retail customer and pay $150 for the retail price. Which sounds better to you? $150 for 1 sleeve or $300 for 3? I'll let you think about that, because 2 sleeves as a retail customer is going to cost you $300, whereas you can get 3 for the same amount of money. But you would earn $50 if you told your sister who needs the patch about this. You'd earn $50 for her getting this package right here. But if you decided to get the business builder pack, you'll get 5 sleeves for $5. Then they'll give you an extra half a sleeve for free. So now you're getting $550 worth of product for $500. But this is the package we recommend for people who really, really want to embrace the business aspect, because, you know, the business part of it, you want to get promoted as you rank up through the company. You want to get promoted. And this is the package. The gold package is the package that will allow you to get promoted. If you can't afford to do the gold package up front, you can start at the starter package and upgrade. Just put another $200 with it later on, and you can still upgrade to the builder package. No penalty in the quantity of sleeves you get, and no penalty in the amount that it costs. You just pay the difference. If you're a serious business builder, like my husband and I, when we got started, remember I told you how we were so excited and saw what it did for my mother-in-law and him. We started thinking of all these people we cared about. We made a list of 25 couples and 25 individuals. We gave each couple 10 of these patches. We put them in an envelope and mailed it to them, put 10 of them in there so that each one of them will have 5. And then the individuals that we put on our list, they each got 5. So that was 375 patches. When you do the math, it comes out to 12 and a half sleeves. We needed two, for each month that we were using this patch is 2 in our household. So we needed 2 sleeves each. I mean, not each, 2 sleeves per month times 3 is 66 more sleeves. And when you add the 6 to the 12 and a half, that's how we came up with 19 sleeves. I just did it, the math. I just did math because I'm a numbers person. I'm a math major in college. So I said, okay, we'll get the series business builder pack, $1,600. But guess what? We're no longer paying $99 a package. We're paying $84. That saved us $16 per sleeve. It only makes sense because guess what? We made our money back the first week. We had 3 other people that decided they wanted to be a serious business builder. So we made that money back the very first week and we shared it with some other people too. All right, we got people on calls just like this. And based on the testimonies, they decided to join. So just, this form right here can be sent to you via email or a screenshot, or the person may send you their link and walk you through it because there are a couple of important areas on the application when you do it online that you want to make sure understand what is asking. And so it'd be best if you are on the phone with the person who shares this link with you so that you can make sure you get it right. And you're going to have questions about these packages anyway. Now, here's the other part I want to encourage you to, excuse me, there are a lot of points. Excuse me, each one of those packages generate points. And there are going to be a lot of points accumulating under you. Remember the part I shared with you, the binary, where I shared with you that you can earn up to $25,000 per week? Well, guess what? You can't take advantage of that if you don't have your points. So we encourage you every month so that you never run out of these patches, at least get 1 sleeve per month so that you can keep the points and you can make the money that's in that binary. If you do not keep yourself active, those points will go to 0. And now you don't get the binary commission. That is one of the biggest parts of our compensation plan. Second option what we suggest is for you to get 2 sleeves. Why? If you're using 1 sleeve yourself, you don't have anything if you have 2 sleeves, you have another sleeve that you can share samples with. See, you don't stop sharing. You just keep, we met 3 people last Saturday night when we got back in town from New Jersey, and right on the shuttle and at the grocery store that we stopped at, we gave 5 samples. 3 people, and we gave each of them 3 samples. That was 9. We couldn't do that if we did not have our own, any extra patches. So it's very important for you to have extra to share. But in addition to that, it allows you to max out the compensation plan. You get to max out. I'm trying to share the screen up. You get to max out the compensation plan if you get 2 sleeves per month. But if you do what we're going to help you do, you would never be coming out of your pocket to pay for any of this. See, you're going to be making money. So put yourself in the mindset of, I'm making money and I'm taking the money I'm making and providing my own product. If you're married, you need 2 sleeves anyway, because I don't want Harvey, my husband, to be using my patches. I want my own. So we really do get more than 2 per month. So that's the minimum. Now we got these wonderful envelopes that you can order on this website called Build 331. And, we'll show you how to do that. If you want to put your patches in these envelopes, they have instructions and explain about the patches. All of that is done for you. So here's the site, build331.com. It also covers the compensation plan and a lot of more information for people who want to understand, how do we do this and how do we get paid? Now, so the time is now, you guys, to make your move. If you're serious about your dreams, you may not have any other options. I know I don't, because I have a business, but as you get older, you're not going to have the desire to just work all the time. I'm self-employed. I don't have a retirement plan like, people who have these jobs. All we can rely on is Social Security. That's not enough for us to live on. And so we needed something else. And thank God we have built this opportunity, this business up to where we don't really have to rely on Social Security. We're doing well enough with this opportunity now where we can really, thrive with this income. So we want to encourage you to get started, because if you get started as soon as you can, you will be one of the first people that Dr. Vickie enrolls, and you will benefit from all this activity that she's doing. Remember, every time somebody signs up in that binary, They have to fall under the people that are above them. I hope you understand that. And timing and positioning, excuse me, timing and positioning are very, very important here. So I encourage you, do not hesitate. Let Dr. text her and say, Dr. Vickie, I am ready. Here is I'm ready to get that form from you. Sign me up. And I'm telling you guys, this has been a wonderful evening. I hope you've been enlightened by the information you've heard. Thank you so much for joining the call. Get back with Dr. Vickie, get back with Dr. Avery, or whoever invited you to this call. We'll see you all again soon.